What is going on, YouTube? Pass the Prop back here again on our Monday MLB show. 2 spots for you guys today. Joined as always by my guy Stu. What's good, man?
Nothing much. I mean, I'm coming back from Vegas. I'm the reason that we were inactive last week, unfortunately. But, it was good to take a little bit of a break. I had a great time down there. Got to do a couple in-person radio spots down at Circus Sportsbook, which was really cool for anyone that's been there. Being inside that studio is definitely a new experience. Definitely had a lot of fun down there. So, yeah, shout out to all the VSiN hosts and all those guys. All those dudes are awesome, treated me very well. So, had a lot of fun down there. Got to check out the Sphere. I've been telling everybody in the world, if you go to Vegas, guys, you need to go to this place. It is awesome. It is like truly the best concert venue imaginable. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's sweet. I was there, but I think there was something happening. I think it was like a concert there or something. So I didn't even get to go when I went, but that was like a year ago now. So yeah, it looks pretty sweet. And I know obviously they're doing a UFC event there.
Well, did you see how much those tickets cost?
Yeah, it's a shitty card, bro. It's not worth that money, bro.
It's not. The card they announced for Abu Dhabi is way better. It's clearly a better card. So
yeah, you think that they'd load up that one because it's in a sweet spot. But yeah, there's better cards
making their money
coming around throughout there. But yeah, coming on to today's slate, we'll recap and then we'll kind of talk a little bit. It's been a little while. I ended up, I believe, losing my Mitchell Parker one on this one. He only gave up like 4 hits. Do really well in that game. And the Nationals just blew them out. It was like a 10-0 game. I had some James Wood exposure on DFS, which was good. He did well for us there. Yepes, I think, hit in the first. I believe it was either first or second at bat. I don't remember if
first at bat it was.
I don't remember if it was either him or Wood who walked and scored. I think he walked, scored, and then got a hit. I think it was the second at bat, but either way, everybody scored a run in that game. For them. That was fun. Thank God for the hedge on Nick Pivetta. Top strikeouts. That's another 2.75 units there. With Pivetta cashing us another long shot ticket. So, we again, I say this every time we look at our record, dude. It's kind of wild because we're under 500 on that, but we're almost 20 units profit on. I believe we got to be at double-digit long shots hit so far this year. It's been pretty sweet, and hopefully you guys have been able to throw those in some parlays and make some money on those.
Yeah, man. I mean, literally back-to-back shows now. Obviously, you've been kind of the king of the K-leader market. I've been staying far away to that, staying in my home lane, doing the batter props and really just tailing you on those, and it's been awesome so far. So, like you said, record may look a little bit wonky. Straights are still doing pretty well, but, man, the long shots have really been lifting us up over these last couple weeks.
Yes, sir. And we're on to today's slate. Not a huge slate. I like these kinds of slates, though, because I don't know, the big ones, you have a lot of options. I'm more talking DFS right now. Like these are my favorite slates because you gotta commit if you want to go up top because we got some high end arms up there. You got Nola, you got Glass now. Hunter Brown's been good. Logan Webb, and then you got some trash cans, and it's like a $3,000 price drop to get to those bottom guys. So these are the fun slates for me. Stu, anything you want to talk about here in this initial part of just looking through our thing before we get into our favorite game?
Yeah, I enjoyed it just because there's a lot of cans on the slate. We got Corbin, we got Hendricks, even got Allen, who was really struggling before he got injured. Like, for me, a guy that loves the batter props, obviously, if you look at the totals on the slate, they're ready for it. We got a lot of high totals today, right? They're clearly ready for a little bit of action. But to me, I think that makes the most interesting slates is when you have a bunch of guys that really have a wide range of outcomes, and we could see a lot of success from the batter props today.
Yes, sir. There's it's all over the place today, and these are like I said, these are like my favorite slates to talk about. So, Stu, any game specifically you want to talk about here? I'm assuming I know where you're going here because there's one that kind of sticks out a little bit more than the others.
Well, I was gonna say it's kind of funny where you get the Corbins, you get the lead up, and then at night you obviously have a little bit of a banger with the Phillies, Dodgers, Nola, Glass. Now, I mean that's everything else feels like a table setter for that one, and that's kind of the big one. I'm definitely gonna be tuned to my Nats. Been a couple days, been out on the West Coast. I've been able to catch them down there, so interested in seeing how they kind of deal with Logan Webb, who's one of the toughest pitchers in the league right here, and a guy that I could really see, like no joke, like a complete game shutout with like a 90 pitch kind of outing. Like it's one of those things where like Washington loves hitting ground balls. Like they love it. Like if you look at James Wood, right, even crushing it so far, every single ball is like 104 miles an hour right into the ground. Like this whole team, the philosophy, they don't encourage the right things. They're very old fashioned, and I think that's kind of their biggest detriment right now. So these guys that are high end pitchers and can induce a lot of ground balls, those guys dominate Washington because they're just really willing to, single and then double play or ground into all these weak contact plays. They don't really encourage hard contact, and that is perfect for a guy like Logan Webb.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the Nationals today. I like fading Webb on the road. Hopefully, it's hot.
I get that. I get that.
So I'm not going to play him. I think he's going to be my one high end guy that I won't. I'm not even going to play the two. I kind of like some of these cheap arms because there's some high end stacks I like. And the games that I kind of like the most is I think Paxton is washed. I think he's fucking washed. I think Singer is literally. I think he's going to have a hard outing today too. So I think that Boston Kansas City game is definitely my favorite game. I think that one's going to be fireworks, man. I think that both pitchers are cheeks. Their bullpens are ass. It's going to be just full of runs today. And I think it's whoever gets out to the fast start is going to get the shit part of the bullpen because I think both teams will be able to score, but obviously when you're losing, you're not going to throw the high end dudes. So I think one of those two teams will be the highest scoring team on the slate for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean it's. I agree. The more you look at it, it's a small slate. A lot of the times, Monday slates are my favorite, but I think you got a lot of interesting stuff going on today.
Yeah, no, and there is a very big difference when you start looking at those top guys to the bottom guys. So, Stu, I guess let's get into our slate. We didn't even we were a couple minutes in already. We got 10 people in here. Hit that like button if you could, and let's talk some bets.
Sounds good. We're going right into a hit parlay right here. I'm going against some pitchers that I really like going against. One, Patrick Corbin. We'll start out with that. There's a lot of good ways that you can fade Patrick Corbin in the year 2024, right? I mean, if you just look at last outing, luckily I was gone for it. I did not have to witness it with my own eyes in front of my TV, but it was brutal. I even saw some people kind of hyping up Corbin a little bit, trying to, especially in the Nationals media around trade deadline, trying to say, "Oh, look, he's kind of coming back a little bit." I mean, it wasn't like his worst of a season as maybe last year, but that's because he had a historically bad season last year. So it's one of those things where we look at this Giants lineup. For me, it's kind of like who's the best target to fade Corbin. I'm going in already knowing that's what I want to do. I see a lot of people on Chapman today. I don't mind Chapman. I don't think he's my favorite kind of guy for a hit parlay in particular. He's someone maybe I look a little bit more at like a total basis at a plus money kind of price tag rather than paying kind of a little bit more juice in the hit department. And Fitzgerald, man, this guy, we actually mentioned him last week on the show. I was kind of curious your thoughts on, betting on these kind of newer, younger guys. When I was betting on Yepes, not that he's young, but he's new, right? You have a more limited sample size. And I was kind of saying that there's a sweet spot, right? There's a time before the league really like figures you out. They don't know your strengths. They don't know your weaknesses yet. So you're getting like the run of the mill game plan rather than an in-depth scouting report tailored to slow you down. And so far this year, Fitzgerald has been killing it, right? Obviously over 300 so far. But when you really look at it, this last little stretches on his historic. I don't know if you saw, obviously ESPN loves the most random sample sizes. They love pulling those crazy stats that really don't mean anything. But he is the first Giant to have 10 home runs over a 16-game span since Barry Bonds. Which is funny that they chose 16 games rather than 15. They always do stuff like that. But it just kind of shows you that he is on one of the biggest heaters really in like franchise history we've seen in a long time. And now you get a guy, obviously top 5 or bottom 5 percentile XBA, bottom 5 xERA. He's not missing bats. We know this. There's no high end strikeout upside with a Patrick Corbin. He's going out there and he's really hoping you don't beat him up too bad. You're getting hittable pitches. It's just can you do something with him? Can you put him in play? For Fitzgerald, if you look at his game log, the only problem is really the strikeouts. Even hitting over 300, even on this crazy wave, a lot of these recent games, 2 strikeouts, even a 3 strikeout game in there. Like, the biggest downfall has been guys that can really get him off balance with that off speed and have him, deathly put away pitch. And Patrick Corbin hasn't had that in like 4 years. So I think it's a great matchup for Fitzgerald. I like his runs scored in this as well, and that's kind of a good transition to Jordan over here, who I really like Jordan in pretty much every market today. But once again, we've talked about this plenty on the show. It's interesting when you see total bases juiced up, when you see hits, runs, RBIs, minus 160. And then you see a guy like Jordan, who's normally around that minus 300 range. He's down to minus 260. I think there's some good number value alone on the hit versus the hits, runs, RBI versus the total bases. I know you're thinking, well, Jordan is one of the most powerful guys in the league, and you're not wrong. But if you do look at it, only a couple of home runs since July 3rd. I believe only 1 or 2 home runs in the last month or so. The power is on a little bit of a downturn, despite the fact that the average is still over 300. He's still hitting extremely well. And when you look at the batter versus pitcher, obviously he crushes Heaney. He has a hit in every single at-bat against him this year. It's kind of insane. He's 6 for 6. He's had 2 at-bats against him 3 times this season and has a hit in every single one of them. Heaney, 11% barrel rate to lefties, over 333 expected batting average. He's really struggling in that lefty-on-lefty department in particular. And I think a lot of it is because he really heavily relies on that four-seam fastball, on it about 40 or 45 to 50% of the time. And when you look at it, Jordan against the lefty four-seamer, hitting over 360, slugging over 550, that is arguably the worst pitch to have to heavily rely on against Jordan Alvarez. And like I said, very comfortable in that lefty-on-lefty matchup, over 360 this season. Not too many guys that can comfortably take on, kind of some lefty killers. But I do like the matchup for Jordan right here. And I like the number value, like I said, on the hit as opposed to some of his other markets as well. The final thing I'll say is because he has crushed Heaney so bad, like he's obliterated him so bad, that I think for me, at first at-bat walk is another thing I'm going to be playing here. It's not necessarily a hedge because both of these could obviously very easily hit. But, man, if you're Heaney, you're looking at the same data we are. I'm sure he's tried every pitch in the book. I mean, he might even try to come out with a splitter or something. Maybe he invents a cutter to throw. I don't know if there are many options left for a guy to get someone like Jordan when you already struggled so badly. So I could see a walk early on. And I do like playing that first at-bat walk. There's no pricing out that I've seen yet on it. Those markets are normally out later in the day, but I do like that first at-bat walk. I think it's a good way to not 100% hedge, but get a little bit of a different angle on it as well. But love this price right here. Love this combination for 2 guys that I think are in very good matchups tonight.
Yeah, no, I like how you're going with. You guys are going. You're going with some pretty good guys. I'm going down the barrel here. I'm barrel diving here. I'm gonna be going with Roddery Munoz. 4 strikeouts here, and I know this is trash can diving today, but I really like him today, and I know it's not gonna be. I'm gonna probably be the only guy, and I'm gonna be on my island, right? I usually like being on the island with good players, right? Like I was on Pavetta Island, Crochet Island early in the year, and I put my nuts on the line for this guy. I'm gonna do it today on Roddery Munoz. And I don't feel as comfortable, but I really like the spot for Roddery. And then obviously comboing it with the Kansas City Royals. Both of them about 250, 260, minus 111 on DraftKings if you go get it right now. Let's talk Munoz because obviously this is the one like that we're going to need to talk about a little bit more. Munoz is facing off against the Reds. The Reds on the road, right? So this is a great spot for him, especially with the fly balls that he has been giving up. What I really like here is the Reds against right-handed pitching on the road so far this year. A little bit over 1,400 plate appearances. They have an 83 WRC plus, a 378 slugging, which I think is really, really important against a guy like Munoz, and also a 25.6% strikeout rate. That is extremely high. Lastly, a guy like Munoz, I know, has a really big struggle with walks. The Reds, 4th lowest walk rate against right-handed pitching on the road there. So obviously that's something I wanted to talk about because Munoz obviously does have that tendency. 24% K rate in the second half of the season. I think he's starting to kind of figure out, hey, maybe if we put the ball in the zone, it'll be a little bit better for me, right? So I also like taking these guys after a tough little stretch. I should have hit him on the Rays game in his last one, but look at that stretch from his last 4 games. He had at Houston, right? Went 6 2/3, 94 pitches there. He went against the Mets. He went 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 1 earned. Went against Baltimore, gave up 6. Nothing wrong with that. The Baltimore Orioles are just smoking the ball right now. And then just shoved on the Rays in Tampa. So I think he's starting to kind of figure it out a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of him overall, but this Reds team I am perfectly fine fading, especially when you have a guy like Munoz who is very, very good against righties so far this year. A 196 batting average allowed. His BABIP is very low, but still has a 4.72 xFIP. My thing is he's giving up a lot of power to left-handed bats, and I know you got Elliott in here. You're going to have Candelario, even though he sucks. A lot of these lefties have been just really bad. And guys like Steer have been carrying it. Stevenson, right? But those are righties, and we've seen Munoz do a lot better against the right side. And also, against lefties so far this year, I get it. He has a 3.9 home runs per 9. That is awful. The dude gives up tanks. But his FIP is almost 9, and he has an xFIP of 5.7, right? That is almost 4 different. Dude, that is crazy to me. That is absolutely crazy. I'm expecting a little bit better. Expected ERA is still pretty high, but I don't need him to shove. I just need him to strike these dudes out. And I think he's going to have enough swing and miss on these guys to get it going here. Looking at his pitch arsenal, his cutter, slider, both over 30% strikeout rate or 30% whiff rate. Changeup exclusively to lefties, only about 8% of the time, but still 33% whiff rate. I'm hoping he says, hey, let's try to start missing bats here because that slider has been really good, but again, primarily to right-handed bats. This Reds team does throw a lot of righties, righty-on-righty spots, right, with Steer, with India, and I'm not really worried about power from like Friedel and Fraley as much as I am with like Ellie, obviously, and Candelario when he's not awful. So Munoz, obviously, tougher spot, but only 4 strikeouts. I think he's going to get there, like the stuff against them. And then I might be one of the biggest stands on the Royals this year. Of anyone, dude. I've been playing them so much, whether it be DFS, whether it be just playing them overall and just overall betting markets. But this team has been really good to me. Paxton has not been missing bats at all. I understand that they only have like a 17% K rate as well, which is elite. And I don't think Paxton's going to be striking out too many guys. I'm looking at the under on Paxton, but it's juiced. So I like the Royals today. It should be hot there as well, which this ball will be flying. I love Bobby Witt tonight. And, dude, I am a huge fan of fading Paxton because dude has just fell off a cliff since these last couple of years. He has a 12% walk rate, 16% K rate, a 5 expected ERA. He's throwing that 4-seamer 57% of the time with a 14% whiff rate. That is not going to get it done, dude. And we're going to be looking at guys like Sal Perez. Going to be looking at Michael Garcia at the top of the lineup. They just need to keep him up there, dude. Keep him up there. I'm tired of watching Adam Frazier and Garrett Hampson at the top of this lineup that's fighting for a playoff spot. Like, they are not good. They cut like 6 times right. So let's get this going, Royals. I'm going to be playing Bobby Witt probably 3 different ways as well tonight just because he's Bobby Witt. Yeah. And I think the Royals smashing it.
No, I like it a lot. I like what you were saying too with the Munoz spot. Obviously, Ellie's really the only like kind of lefty power spot. But you're in Marlins Park, right? I mean, you got like really a bigger leash than almost any other park out there, obviously, which is nice. And then what you said, I mean, I agree with you on the Witt thing too. Obviously, I wish they made it easier to play him. That's the only thing. You try to put him in a hit parlay, it's like minus 450. They clearly caught on. We were playing him earlier in the season, if you remember. We were playing Witt a decent amount, but clearly that was hurting their bank accounts a little bit. They had to correct that situation. But definitely agree with the Royals look. And yeah, I don't mind Perez for a homer at all tonight. That was definitely something I was looking at a little bit earlier.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of spots with all these shit pitching on the slate that we can go to. So definitely like that one there. I guess let's get our recap in here, Sue. We still got 12 of you guys in here. If you got questions, drop them in the chat. And then I don't know. I'll have to take a peek at long shots. I don't know if I'm going to have one or not.
Sounds good. We're staying in the hit parlay streets. We got Yordan Alvarez and Fitzgerald combined at minus 114. Fading my guy Patrick Corbin. Yeah, let's do it.
I'll be taking Roderick Munoz 4 strikeouts with the Royals team total over 3.5 at minus 111 on DraftKings. Welcome, guys. Welcome, Cashville. Good to see you in here. Stu, do you have a long shot today? I didn't ask you before we got on here, but is there a spot you're looking at? I know
I
there's.
only have one locked in, and I'm looking at it, and I don't even like it anymore. I bet Luis Robert home run at 520, and he sucks. He's bad. Or not, well, he's not terrible. But the more I look at it, I actually think I like betting his double more. Like, the more I look at it, I think double might be a better look. Because if you do look, he's not been great, but when he does produce, it's the doubles. In his past experience against Sears, 2 doubles against him in 3 at bats, and that huge ballpark makes it kind of hard to get out of there. So I don't have the price on that one, but I've kind of been flip flopping a little bit on Robert so far today. But I do think this is a great slate for some long shots. I don't have too many locked in yet. I think what I'll do is probably what I did last time on the show, post a little round robin a little bit later. Last time we went 2 or 3, cashed on the round robin as well. Didn't count it in the show because, it was a quote tweet. It wasn't official on the show, but I think that's probably what I'm going to do again today. Put a couple juicy names together for a little home run round robin.
All right, finally, FanDuel decided to come to their senses, give me highest scoring team in time, and I'm going to be going with the Royals today. That'll be my long shot. You can't bet long shot pitchers today. Glasnow is plus 120 to lead the slate in strikeouts. Like, are we serious? Like, that's crazy. Like, I want to bet Munoz, bro. I would bet Munoz.
What's that price?
I'm serious. I would bet him at his price. His price is like 30-1, bro. Like,
yeah,
I kind of have to. Like, I can't. Like, JP Sears being 15-1 is criminal, bro. He's 4th highest. I get he's facing the White Sox, but that's criminal, bro. That dude don't miss bats. Logan Webb against the Nationals, don't strike out. 19-1, crazy. Like, Phillies are kind of nice too. Like, this is a tough spot for him, and I'm like, damn, dude, this is crazy. But I'm gonna roll with the Royals. I've talked about Paxton a little bit before, but so far in the second half, he has a 49% left on base percentage, which is absolutely dreadful. Also, he has a K minus BB. On the road this season of at home it's 2.2, on the road it's 7, but he's still walking 11% of dudes. A lot of power issues to right-handed bats, right? A 5.68 xFIP to righties. Unfortunately for him, I mean, you're really going to probably see 2 lefties, maybe Melendez, who's been switching in and out because they got Blanco out there. And then Vinny Pasquantino, who's been on a heater. So you get to deal with Michael. You get to deal with Witt, Perez. Hunter Renfroe hits lefties very well. So I really like the Royals today to be my highest scoring team. I think almost 10-1 is a fantastic price.
Yeah, I'm definitely joining you on this. This is a good look right here. It's a good price. Like I said, this has been a good market for you so far this year, these scoring leaders, K leaders. So I'm definitely, you want to get a little piece of the Royals bandwagon tonight. The only worry is obviously one of these other guys just gets absolutely shelled, whether it's a Corbin who gave up, fucking 11 runs or whatever the other day.
I watched that game and there was a lot of blues. I'll give him that shit because I was watching Luis Gurriel literally popped up a ball over first base and Yepes is slow as fuck.
Yeah,
there, dude. That was so bad. Like, it was literally any other first baseman MLB is sitting like this. This dude's huffing and puffing and missing that shit. So my thing is they're the lowest odds on someone is the Giants, right, against Corbin, 7.5-1, right? And I think the name value alone on Paxton gives me a little bit extra, even though he's been shit.
Yeah,
but giving him at this price next to him, right? Them and the Red Sox are tied right there. So I think that's obviously a good look. But all these teams from 2 to 8 are 950 to 1400. It's a flat slate. So I think that's a good price. I think obviously it's warranted that they're that high up the board.
Yeah, I agree. And also, one last thing. When you're looking at the K leader, where's Manaea on that? Where was his price at? Was it high up? I know he's coming off like a super high strikeout game.
19-1. He's 8th on the board. He's behind David Festa.
I was going to say, I saw Festa had like 7 his last outing, but that guy still kind of sucks in my opinion. I don't hate Manaea. That might be worth like $5 for me, just because we talked about this a while ago with our guy John Legeza. Sometimes it's about the team and sometimes it's about the pitcher. And some pitchers just show that high-end strikeout upside, right? And if it's a crazy slate, you're getting a 20-1 and 19-1, might throw $5 on that, see what happens.
For sure. Stu, you got anything else for the people? There's 13 people in here now with us live here on our finishing up here. What do you got for them?
Yeah, if you missed us live and you still got questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We're here to answer them. We've been mixing up the times a little bit recently, both on some kind of hectic schedules, which we do apologize for. I've got maybe one more little disruption coming up this weekend, but after that, we're gonna keep it a little bit more consistent. We're gonna get back on, same time, same thing every time. So we do apologize if you're trying to tune in at that one time, you keep missing us or something like that. We post about it on Twitter. I post about it in Discord. We try to keep updated as best as possible. So if you do got those questions, you want to drop your bets, drop them in the comments. We're still reading, we're still checking, and yeah, let's cash some tickets today, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I know the entire month of August we're gonna be probably gonna be in and out, man. It's gonna be after I know you have your trip this weekend. I'm gonna be gone for the pretty much the entire middle part of August before the football season. So we're gonna be in and out. Hopefully you guys are following on Twitter like you should be anyway. But yeah, hopefully hit another long shot, guys. Again, 39, 44, 18, and 4 or 5 units, and we're ready to go. So hit that like button, guys, on your way out. We appreciate you. If you have any questions, drop them in. We'll get to them. We usually always get to them throughout the day. So thank you, guys, and best of luck tonight.